Hi, and welcome to the Diamond Report for Saturday, May 6th, 2017. This is your host, Doug Diamond. It is currently 7:40 p.m. and I'm doing the report just a little earlier today only because I have an 8 o'clock start on a live Lost Arts radio show. It's our weekly Saturday evening show at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So I just have a few minutes where I can kind of cover what I need to for the Diamond Report, so I thought I'd squeeze that in. I've got us looking at the last 48 hours worth of earthquakes, magnitude 5.0 and greater worldwide. Now you might see this 2.6 on here. That's on that. I can't take that off. That's on there because it's a brand new quake. What I wanted to show you though was that in the Aleutian Island chain in Alaska, we have a magnitude 5.1 that's happened within the last 4 hours, and the reason that's significant is that it's a deep quake. It's over 200 kilometers. It's 384 kilometers deep, which means usually you can bet that another magnitude or two will transfer into a shallow, larger quake to the east. So this will transfer this way. If this releases pressure as one quake, you could be looking at a 6.1 to 7.1 quake. And that could strike anywhere along the coast here from the mainland area of Alaska down, western Canada and into the United States west coast. Now, the Pacific Northwest is currently experiencing a slow slip event. And if you listen to or watch Dutch Sense It All, he talks about this at length. The last time a slow slip event occurred in the Pacific Northwest, it ended with a magnitude 7.0 quake. And we could be looking at another scenario where that happens again. If the 5.1 transfers into, say, a 6.1 or 7.1, and it does what it did last time, somewhere around the coast of Oregon or Washington, or even up here into Canada, you could see a magnitude 6 or 7. Now, if it strikes out to sea, it's not a big deal. But if it strikes land, it's a really big deal, because a magnitude 6 or 7 striking land obviously is not something you want. That's going to cause a lot of damage. So that's something that we need to watch closely. And also, you can see we're looking at magnitude 5.0 and greater worldwide. You can see there's quite a few just in the last 48 hours. And then three deep quakes here that you can see. One of them's here in Jakarta, Indonesia, near Jakarta in southern Indonesia. I mentioned that one on the report from yesterday. And then, of course, we've got the one in Alaska that I just mentioned. And then another one here in the Middle East. This is on the border between Afghanistan and Tajikistan. And that's another magnitude 5. And again, it's going to transfer pressure from this starting place westward. It's going to transfer from here across the Middle East and into Europe. So if a deep 5.0, which is what this one is right here that's sticking off the planet, that one, a deep 5.0 transferring west, it's going to lose a magnitude here and there, but you're still going to get some pretty significant movement off of that. Could be here through, let me adjust this down. You could see movement in Iran and Turkey that is maybe a little bit larger than normal, but I would definitely say we need to be on watch in Greece and Italy, because we see a lot of movement there. And if we get a sizable quake in Italy, then obviously people need to know about that. So we tend to get these swarms happening here, so it could be that it could just swarm out. So instead of having a 4.0 quake, you could have 10 threes or something, which would not be a big deal. But it's just something that we need to consider and need to keep an eye on, only because this one right here, this white one, is a pretty decent sized quake that is deep, and the fact that it's deep is what matters. The only other thing I wanted to show you was that a couple of days ago, we talked about the magnitude 4.2 quake that happened off the coast of Oregon. and I can bring that back to show you here. This one right here. This quake right here. Now, pressure from this pushed and is currently still pushing from west to east across the North American craton. Now, the reason that is significant is that we're still seeing movement from that all the way down the edge of the craton. All these 2s that you see here, and then even down in here to the 3.5 and the 2.7 and 8 down here in Oklahoma, and the one here in Texas. Those are from weak places in the crust from fracking and oil and things like that. We've even got a brand new one out here not too far from where I am. This is in the New Madrid seismic zone. I'm in Nashville, which is about right here. So we're continuing to see quakes push from that 4.2 in California or in Oregon. We're seeing that continue to push eastward. We haven't really seen any go up the eastern seaboard yet, but that's probably just a matter of time. It could just be, you know, smaller quakes, more 2s, and even probably 1s, which wouldn't even show up on my feed actually, because my feed's only showing from 2s and greater. So anyway, it's just something we'll, again, keep an eye on, and that's all I had for the earthquake update, so let's move on to the headlines. And I'm back. You won't have noticed I was gone. I did a seamless edit here, and as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I had to stop and do a live radio show broadcast with Richard Sachs of Lost Arts Radio. I'm the producer and engineer on that radio show, so we just finished our show, and then I had some other cleanup work I had to do on the show, and it is currently now 11:39 p.m., so some time has elapsed since I first started the earthquake update, and in just the last 10 minutes or so, a magnitude 5.3 has struck southern Alaska, which may or may not be as a result of the deep magnitude 5 quake that I talked about just a little while ago, striking in the Aleutian Islands. My guess is it did have some impact on it because it's already filtering eastward, as I mentioned would probably happen. Alright, and this being Saturday, of course, Dane Wigington issues his Global Alert News each Saturday, and this is today's, May 6th, Geoengineering Watch Global Alert News. The Legal Alliance to Stop Geoengineering, LASG, is continuing with the effort to gain critical information from government agencies. The global climate engineering assault is completely out of control. The consequences will be total if these programs of planetary omnicide are not exposed and stopped. The U.S. is ready to instigate World War III by using the North Korea missile testing as an excuse. What is the U.S. doing at the very same time? Testing ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Fukushima continues to get worse, with a huge red blob of nuclear waste being reported off the U.S. West Coast. The latest completely engineered chemically ice-nucleated snowstorm has devastated crops and killed as many as 10,000 cows. The Saudis now own major U.S. infrastructure, oil infrastructure, with the full support of our criminal government. The Saudis are also enjoying the U.S. government's support of their ruthless bombing of Yemen, one of the poorest nations in the world. The military-industrial complex is ramping up their aggression on countless fronts, with President Trump as their new mascot. The office of the president is now just a part of the power structure. It's been so for a very long time. Willful blindness and blatant denial are running rampant in the ranks of the human race. The more critical our collective reality becomes, the more fanatical the behavior will be from many. Fully facing dire realities is extremely difficult. To ignore these same realities is certain suicide. Any that are truly awake are desperately needed to help with the effort to wake others. This is the only way forward in the fight for the greater good. That is words very well spoken, and that is also from Dane Wigington of geoengineeringwatch.org. So full credit to him for that. Please visit geoengineeringwatch.org for more information. Dane's current articles are over here in the recent column along the right-hand side. I'm the webmaster on geoengineeringwatch.org, so if you ever have any questions about anything posted there or technical issues, feel free to email me, or you can just contact me through Facebook or YouTube. My email address is doug@lostartsradio.com. If you want to email me that way, that's fine. And I look forward to hearing from you on this or any other issue. The Pentagon to lease privately owned Trump Tower apartment for a device that contains the nuclear launch codes. The White House military office is in charge of protecting the nuclear football. That's from Daily Mail. Eiffel Tower stunt exposes security concern on eve of French election. Activists use mountaineering helmets, ropes, and shackles. Kill the candidates. ISIS makes sick call for French election day terror attacks. Terrorists urge followers to kill Marine Le Pen and Emmanuel Macron and burn down polling stations on Sunday. That's from The Sun. From the London Independent, Emmanuel Macron hacked emails. French media ordered by Electoral Commission not to publish content of messages. Journalists could face criminal charges for violating laws preventing influence on vote. From Sputnik News, Russia declassifies secret report on horrifying Nazi crimes in wartime Ukraine. An estimated 6 million Ukrainians fought in the ranks of the Red Army during the Second World War. And a video report from Mark Dice. Trump schools CNN reporter in 1990, then drops the mic, literally. Trump has been calling out the very fake news CNN for decades. Radio station owner exposes plot to pull Alex Jones off the airwaves. Advertisers working behind the scenes to censor the Alex Jones show. Tech giants attempting to destroy InfoWars. Google, Facebook, mainstream media working to silence independent journalism. And of course, InfoWars is one of the biggest voices out there, so obviously they're a big target. New Jersey man accused of planning New York City pressure cooker bombing on behalf of ISIS. That's from Gothamist. The military is using human brain waves to teach robots how to shoot. Researchers hope new neural net will help understand how to structure different individuals' data, eye movements, their P300 responses, etc. That's from govexec.com. Yeah, Anthony Patch was just talking about the neural net, the neural lace that Elon Musk has talked about and wants to make sure humanity has at some point, which of course, if you accept the neural lace, the neural net into your body, will turn you into a slave. That's going to cause you to become a technical slave, not just being able to read your mind and your thoughts, but to connect you to the hive, to the Borg. I mean, we're literally going to become the Borg with this stuff. So I would definitely recommend listening to Anthony Patch. Go to his website, anthonypatch.com. He talks about this stuff all the time, and he's an expert also in CERN and everything going on there from the Christian perspective. France bans, quote, extremely thin models. Health Ministry says aim is to fight eating disorders and inaccessible ideals of beauty. That's from the BBC. YouTube loses major advertisers over offensive content. Starbucks, Dish, Pepsi, and AT&T all yanked ads from YouTube. Venezuela starving. Citizens lose average of 19 pounds. Once Latin America's richest country, Venezuela can no longer feed its people, hobbled by the nationalization of farms as well as price and currency controls. Yeah, well, welcome to socialism. 20-year-old stabbed to death is the 8th London knife victim in 2 weeks. Bombshell, study proves unvaccinated children are healthier. Studies put to question the safety of current vaccination practices. Judicial Watch, court rules State Department must release Clinton emails detailing Obama response to Benghazi. Does President Trump know his state and Justice Departments are still trying to provide cover for Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama? Stephen Fry under police investigation for blasphemy after branding God a, quote, utter maniac. Ireland police looking into famed actor's comments. And on theburningplatform.com, quote, "The brink of war. The horror of the deep state's plan exposed, part 2. This is from James Quinn. French election. Shock graph reveals millions of voters are planning a boycott. France warns media not to publish hacked Macron emails, threatens with criminal charges. I mentioned that just a minute ago. That's on Zero Hedge. Anger will explode in this country. Marine Le Pen warns of backlash ahead of vote. That's on the Express. We have to keep the myth of united Europe alive. Italian Prime Minister in desperate rallying cry to EU. Alarm, record die-off of marine life along West Coast. Huge numbers washing up on shore. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Several types of animals found dead, hemorrhaging from brain infections. That's on enenews.com. Largest French newspaper explains why it won't cover the Macron leaks. That's on Zero Hedge. Restore order in 5 years. What future Marine Le Pen wants for France. That's on Sputnik News. Creator of world's largest kiddie porn site gets 30 years in prison as police arrest 900 suspected users and rescue hundreds of exploited children. That is some good news. President Duterte warns George Soros, quote, "There is a bounty on your head." Harvard scientists advocate geoengineering and admit chemtrails are not a conspiracy. You don't say. Illegal alien rapes 4-year-old while recording the crime on a phone. That's on the Gateway Pundit. Dirty tricks. French voters receive invalid, damaged Le Pen ballots. That's also Gateway Pundit. Furious father goes off on school board for teaching his children about Islam. Why I left BuzzFeed. Former employees speak out against media company and fake news outlet. That's from Natural News. And from Activist Post, Julian Assange just destroyed the FBI, CIA, and fake news in an epic tweet storm. New York Times columnist being attacked by the left after writing about the ridiculousness of blindly supporting climate change narratives. That's on Natural News. And exactly as I said yesterday, Obamacare, Trump care, get rid of it all. Amen to that. FBI uncovers Boston Marathon-style New York City bomb plot, charges New Jersey man. That's on RT. Is U.S. creating shield against potential nuclear retaliation from Russia and China? That's on Sputnik News. Measles outbreak continues to spread in Minnesota. 44 cases confirmed. Yeah, well, the measles will not kill you. It's okay to have the measles. You'll live. You don't need a vaccine against the measles. That'll just make it worse. And not only that, you'll spread the measles to other people. Global collapse. Children are literally starving to death in Venezuela and Yemen. That's from Michael Snyder of the Economic Collapse blog. Clinton, scandalous, boring, and incapable of recognizing her own mistakes. That's on Sputnik News. Texas bill creates hell on earth for sanctuary cities. That's from thelastgreatstand.com. And an X22 report, Fed confirms next economic crisis, massive stimulus planned. San Diego, ground zero for Islamic indoctrination in American public schools. That's from Freedom Outpost. Federal court demands release of Hillary's State Department emails on Benghazi attack. Lock her up. That's right. That's from Zero Hedge. And from the Daily Star, Mount Doom volcano erupts, causing thousands to be evacuated. And Mount Doom, of course, is Mount Sinabung in Indonesia. The complete list of House Republicans who voted against fake Obamacare repeal bill, and the list of those who voted to keep Obamacare. That's from Freedom Outpost. Old habits die hard. U.S. still spies on Brazil despite outrage over NSA scandal. That's on Sputnik News. Newsweek writer Kurt Eichenwald hopes GOP family members lose insurance, get tortured, and die. That's on Breitbart. New York Times cheers the rise of Orwellian censorship algorithms. Scientists warn deadly ancient pathogens melting out of ice in the Arctic could wipe out human population. That's on shtfplan.com. Ex-NSA agent confirms coup underway. Congress holding secret meetings to remove Trump under the 25th Amendment. That's from Dave Hodges at the Common Sense Show. That's, of course, saying that Trump is unfit to serve. Paul Craig Roberts says Trump to be made an example of for future politicians. That's also from Dave Hodges. South Africa's white genocide. Could it come to America? It absolutely could. The Disney Deception. That's by Sheila Zelinsky. That is a radio show, and she's an excellent host. I highly recommend that. U.S. dismisses Russia's ban on military aircraft over Syria safe zones. That's on Fox News. Paradise in peril. Puerto Rico shows governments do go bankrupt. Did recent North Korean missile test fail, or was it really a perfect EMP test? According to South Korean sources, recent test failed at ideal height for EMP attack. At the brink of a nuclear holocaust, this is why we should tread very carefully. That's on All News Pipeline. When grocery stores go empty, these 4 foods will help you survive. That's on ReadyNutrition.com. During the collapse, where to go and what places to avoid. This is from Survival Dan 101. Steve says, you want to be where everyone else isn't, if possible, never standing in line when the herd panics, as the alligators will be there to snatch your stuff. That's good advice. What the media is not telling you about the healthcare bill and the $1 trillion tax cut. That's from All News Pipeline as well. And, of course, I don't call it the healthcare bill anyway. I call it the disease management bill. The disease management system. It's not a healthcare system. There's no health involved. The conquistadors' encounters with giants. De Soto and 15 soldiers entered Tuscaloosa's village and discovered that the chief was a giant 10 times mightier than his son and turned out to be the tallest and most handsomely shaped Indian. And for more on that, definitely check out the True Legends series, truelegendstheseries.com, from Steve Quayle and Timothy Alberino. Hideous, Australian company turns IVF human embryos into jewelry. That is just sick. Nuclear attack upon America rages on. Why isn't the mainstream media reporting upon this nuclear war without a war? Surfing website warns of ocean oddities and Fukushima fallout. That's on All News Pipeline. And from technocracy.news, lab-grown meat will hit supermarket shelves soon. Boy, doesn't that sound delicious? Technocrats invent because they can, not because there's any moral target in view. Ingesting any tampered or man-made food or drug should be thoroughly tested in a controlled population before releasing to the public. The medical industry has the worst track record of suppressing testing data and skipping testing altogether if they can get away with it. This company's founder and CEO is a medical doctor. That explains it, doesn't it? Escaping Earth. This is from the fake Stephen Hawking. Of course, the real Stephen Hawking has long since passed away, I believe, and this is not the real guy. I've done many posts about this. Stephen Hawking's wisdom, we must leave Earth. The growing cult of we must leave Earth is led by high-level science and tech moguls like Stephen Hawking, Elon Musk, Ray Kurzweil, Peter Thiel, etc. Mars lust apparently is not satisfied by anything short of actually going there. We should bid them all adieu in the hope that they will take up permanent residence there themselves. And along those lines, United Arab Emirates to build first city on Mars by 2117. So just 100 years from now. What a joke. Okay, that's it for today's Diamond Report. Thanks for listening and watching. And as always, if you don't like what I'm saying, if you don't like how I said it, if you don't like what I reported on, if you don't like my sources, then please just keep it to yourself. I don't want to hear it. If you really dislike it that much, just start your own show. I'll be happy to watch it. Just tell me what it is, and I'll watch it just like you watch my show and complain. No, that's not really true. I don't get that many complaints, just one every now and then. So, but I do thank everybody who's sharing the show and telling their friends about it in different ways, whether they're sharing a link or just mentioning it. it does help. I don't make a dime or a penny even from any of this. So just getting the word out, that's primarily why I started the show. That's what I'm trying to do, is just get the word out on real news as opposed to fake news. So I will see you tomorrow.